Hey guys, this is Kayo Williams of Kayquarii Productions on Chasing Dreams with Amy J.
Welcome to Chasing Dreams podcast with Amy J. Amy believes that realizing a life without regrets is achieved by taking chances, chasing your dreams, making moves, and overcoming your doubts. The Chasing Dreams podcast will help you overcome life's obstacles, believe in your potential, and inspire you to face your fears. And now here's the woman who is passionately pursuing her dreams, Amy J.
Hey Dream Chasers, this is Amy J, and you are listening to episode 117 of Chasing Dreams. And I have a fun guest for you guys today, another friend of mine who is, he's a busy guy. So we've been trying to figure out when he could come in, and he's coming in between works and projects that he has. His name is Kayo Williams. He's a native Chicagoan, I guess is probably how you would say that. He is a fill composer, songwriter, music producer, and master engineer at Kayquarii Productions. Did I say that right?
Yep. Kayquarii Productions.
See? He's served and advocated for several creative arts industry organizations like Chicago Ideas Week, Grammy Producers and Engineers Wing, and the Gene Siskel Film Center, just to name a few. His passion for music can only be described as a never-ending journey of discovery, introduced to music at the age of 5. When his mother bought him his first instrument as a Christmas gift, by early adulthood, he mastered 7 instruments. His love for various music styles helped him understand their powerful role in cinema. He's been an active member and advocate for the National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences, the Grammy Producers and Engineers Wing, and EARS, which is the Engineer and Audio Recording Society, and he is doing it up and living his life and his dreams. Kayo, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Amy.
Yeah, we met at podcast movement, and only towards the end, which is a shame because I think we would have a lot to talk about. But I'm really glad we were able to get you on here because you are doing some crazy things.
Thank you. I mean, I definitely try. Every day it's a creative growing process. I often get the question from younger composers, how does it feel to make it? And I often reply back, I'm still moving towards that. I just been in it for a while, and I think no matter what level I get to, I'll still feel that way to keep me on the edge and keep me fresh. But anyway,
you're working on it. You've been working on it. Okay, what's your first instrument? Because you told me your mom gave you first instrument as a Christmas gift. What was it? I'm gonna guess guitar.
No.
Dang. Piano.
No.
Dang, got it. Third time. Trumpet.
Yes.
Oh, really? Yes.
It was a wind instrument, and it's so funny. Although I have a love for wind instruments, actually, I still write for wind instruments when I compose, but I don't actively play wind instruments. All the 7 instruments that I play are applied with hands, but not wind. Other than my voice for singing, that's it.
Okay, so let's. What are the 7?
I play. Well, this is how I rank them. My voice. I play the keyboards, drums, bass guitar, electric guitar, acoustic guitar. I did say the keyboard, drums, bass guitar, electric guitar, acoustic guitar.
Drums.
Yes. Oh, drums. And also I play the string instruments.
Were those all self-taught?
Now the piano wasn't self-taught. How I was raised, basically, I had some teachers on the piano, but I knew enough to the point by the time I got into my late teens, early 20s, I was just on my own with that. And I would also go through continuing education independently, but I had enough from being in it so long to just keep progressing on my own, because a lot of people don't understand that the piano is actually the father of most applied instruments when you look inside of the actual piano bed, but that's another discussion.
So do you have an ear for music where you could hear a song and be able to recreate it?
Yes, I can. And I've done that.
That's
before.
talent, man.
Yes, but I also write the notes. So I did have formal training in composition where I can actually sit there and write out a score and write out the clefs and so forth and so forth.
But I gotta say, that's an amazing talent. I've only known 2 or 3 other people that can do that. They can hear it and it doesn't take them long to recreate it. They could do it in the same half hour or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's because you hear something so many times, it's just almost in sequence that for me, my brain just understands the sequence and I just can do it. I
And
don't
you
know.
love it. I mean,
Yes, I like to do what I do. Yes.
it helps that you love it. But you were talking about having formal education. What's the most formal education? Did you get a degree in it? Is it?
Yeah. So I went to Dillard University in New Orleans, Louisiana, and I actually had a performing arts degree, meaning I worked in music and acting. I did have some of my teachers from Preservation Hall, which if you're familiar with avant-garde jazz, that's some of the greats that have come out of that. Ellis Marsalis, the father of Wynton and Branford Marsalis, was a member of and still is a member of Preservation Hall. Maynard Chatter. So those were some of my teachers.
So you learned it on your own. You had fun. You took a degree in it, and you probably enjoyed that as well.
I did. I did.
Now, let me ask this, because people can take a degree in something they love. Did you ever grow to resent it or get frustrated with it because it's something you love, but yet hear something grating you, so to speak? Or was there anything you hated about formal education?
Not really. There are times where sometimes you do feel constricted, but as I got older, I had to learn that really, it's so funny, Amy. You learn the rules to break the rules, if that makes any sense.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. You learn in music, you learn the rules to break the rules. So, you learn basically, learning all that stuff, notation and notes and scales. That's just basically you learning an applied language. So you can walk up to someone or universal language or other creatives and hand them a piece of paper or a file and go, this is what I want. And we can all see and understand that same language and they can get it, rather than walking up to some people can get it, but rather walking up to some and going, okay, I want this. Da 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 da. What? Versus saying go B flat to C sharp, then go down to seventh and have it written on a piece of paper, and they're like, oh, I get it. And then the rest is up to you, basically. So you learn structure. So what that taught me, my take from it and different teachers is with the arts, there's nothing wrong with having structure. Structure is great, but don't let structure be the guide to your creativity. Just let it be a tool and then go free form from there and make it what you want, if that makes sense.
And you must be doing that as a film composer in the work you're doing. But what was it about the styles of music that you found to be important in cinema? Like, how does music play a role in it?
It's another character in the film. It can help, make the story greater. When you understand themes and emotional points, if I'm making sense with that, when you understand themes and emotional points, it can just make the film connect with one's emotional center better. It can make the film more memorable, and give it that emotional hook. Like, for example, I'll give you an example, Star Wars. Mm-hmm. And who doesn't know, Darth Vader's marching theme?
That's very true. That's very true.
Right. It's another character in the film. Right. So I hope I'm answering the question clearly. So I don't want to ramble, but that's what you're.
No, I think you give a great example. I'm curious. What do you think, though, outside of Star Wars, is your favorite example of the use of music in a film?
Oh, wow.
Did I hit you with that?
You're coming with the hard questions, Amy. Because I got to pick one.
All right, top three.
Okay, top three.
I can't make it easier than that.
All right, so I won't say Star Wars because I said it already. I'll say Saving Private Ryan. Huh. That's John Wick, beautiful music.
Oh, John Williams is fantastic.
Saving Private Ryan is one. My second favorite. Oh, she only gave me three. I have so many. Oh.
There's no wrong answer, right?
Right, I know, but I have so many. Okay. The second one is Forrest Gump. That was beautiful. The music in that film was beautiful. My third film was so many. My third favorite film, I'm just gonna go ahead and say Lord of the Rings. I'll just say that.
I feel like it was like I feel like it should be the consolation one though. It's like you weren't going to be number 3, but I'll go ahead and put you there. I mean, mind you, Howard Shore is a very powerful composer.
Yeah, because I have so many, you know.
Well, I'm surprised. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I'm surprised because the ones you named, John Williams, Howard Shore, Alan Silvestri, I think, is Forrest Gump. All talented ones. Don't get me wrong. I love listening to them. Hans Zimmer, fantastic composer. I'm surprised you didn't name anything for Disney.
Oh, Disney? I mean, yeah, I love Disney film. I do love Disney film. But for the power of music in the film? Yeah, I mean, but I only had 3.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Wait, can I make it worse? Can I go ahead and ask you your few favorites? I won't give you a number. Few favorite composers that you look up to.
Oh, wow.
But I didn't give you a number. But let's not go past 5.
Okay. Well, we know about John Williams. I'll say Hans Zimmer is one of my favorites. Mm-hmm. And actually, I really don't have that, to be quite honest with you, I really don't have that many favorites. I can go and stop at 3. I mean, there are other guys that I can like sometimes, but I just can't say that.
Okay, then go 3.
Yes.
So is that John Williams, Hans Zimmer, and who?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I gave a third one. That's John Williams. Hans Zimmer. And my third one, it's so hard because I have so many.
We can also do top 2.
Okay. Because
you're right. You're not wrong. I mean, I'm surprised by how many composers there are. You know, the ones we named are the most common. They've been associated with these big films, but there are so many composers out there. Is it for someone who isn't in the industry? Are there composers for every movie?
There are. And then you have this thing now where you have artists, major label artists for the last several years getting into it. You know, they'll roll over and do they're what's considered non-traditional. You know, usually they'll do a rock record, but a filmmaker will hire them to score a film.
Didn't Pharrell do that? Yeah.
They'll do, and they'll cross over, and they'll just do that. You know, and so that's why it's just, the walls are between, you know, traditional film composers and standardized. Pharrell Williams does it. You know, those walls are getting thinner and thinner for the last several years. So everybody's jumping into it.
So it's not an easy industry.
No, it's not. Not at all. I mean, it's very relationship based. And the more you know about business, I feel the better. I mean, of course, your talent gets you there, but the more you know about business, the more fluid your relationships, I think.
Has that ever intimidated you in continuing in this genre?
No, it hasn't. It's made me more careful about, you know, how I spend my time and what I invest my time in creatively. I can say that. That's
smart.
Yeah.
Have you ever, I was going to ask, is there a film you regret composing? But I don't know if that's fair necessarily because you get something from it. Plus, if anyone from that film listens, I don't think it's fair for them. So
no, it's not fair for them.
it's not fair, but let me change.
I'll answer your question, but I can't say the name of the film. But I'll say that it was a film where I dealt with a director through a contact. I would say if we had to, I don't like to call people B-list, but B-list, celebrity contact. And they, you know, I worked on it and that, I said, okay, I'll take the risk and I'll go ahead and get hired onto the project. But they didn't have much experience and that was their first film. And that's what kind of made the process a little tedious. So they didn't have much experience, you know, working with a post team.
Well, let me ask you, how did you get your first experience?
Oh, wow. So here's fun. This was funny. So remember I was saying I have my degree is in performing arts. So I also have a music side and an acting side. And that's how I actually jumped into it. You know, I started merging the two. When I wasn't in front of the camera, I said, oh, well, this would sound nice here and that would sound nice there in between takes while I was doing actually performing or whatever part I had, in the film. And it just grew from there.
That must have been amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
just to kind of be involved so intimately.
Yes, because, you can really understand, the director's voice and what they're really trying to accomplish.
So now that you're kind of in the medium, you're involved in so many different organizations, associations. How does somebody become a film composer? I mean, aside from having that experience and the fact that you were kind of already involved in one, do you go to Craigslist? Is it LinkedIn? Like what's the process for becoming a film composer?
Oh, it's very simple. They just go and buy a genie. No.
You rub the lamp, turn around 3 times.
There's really there's really no, I can't really say that there's a strong defined process because it's entertainment. Everything in entertainment, as we know, is very relationship based. All I can say is just really understand the structure of what you're trying to do in everybody's role. So you don't spin your wheels and you know exactly who to talk to get what you need or become a part of what you want to become a part of. And that's really the best advice I can give. And put yourself in a position where, yes, you'll have to do some pursuit in the beginning and even throughout your career, you'll have to do some pursuit. But I would say make sure your power of attraction outweighs your pursuit. If that makes any sense. Work on the gift so much. Even if you don't have a film project, you should still be working or trying out new stuff. I'll give you a perfect example. This guy's musician. He was just here in Chicago. He just won a Grammy. Well, I remember.
I was like, you know how many people that is?
Yeah, that's a lot of people. I'll remember his name in a minute. But Sheeran.
Huh.
What he does is he's kind of like me. Even if I don't finish something, I try to make sure that I write every single day just to get in that creative exercise. And you'll never know where stuff, goes or how it develops. I've had stuff that I've composed and started working on 2 years ago, stopped, and then get back to it till 2 years later because another idea came full-fledged. And then because it wasn't its time. This is how I approach the creative process. It wasn't its time to be created. But so I will come back to it 2 years later and finish it, even though I've had a lot of stuff in between that time, and it came out great.
Wow.
That happens. And then there's some stuff where people put it in front of me. I recently had a project for an independent, it was what I call Indie Pro, because it was funded by this organization called Free Spirit Media, and they produced the film. And that was about a month ago. And actually, I was able to compose for 3 scenes within 1 day. That's not uncommon, but that's really a good synergy. That's why I keep trying to tell people creativity is a spirit that you call upon, and it's basically, it was said best by the woman who wrote Eat, Pray, Love. Creativity usually calls upon people and says, hey, listen, I did my job. I'm here. Now you show up, so.
I mean, that's so powerful because when you're young or when you're chasing your dreams, right? We see and we're exposed to so much of Hollywood, right? But not everything is being made in Hollywood, right? You talked about A-listers, B-listers, C-listers, but there are also different levels of film as well, right? Not everything that's on the big screen is a film are the only films being made, right? So when you're pursuing, sometimes we think we're a failure if we can't get onto a movie that's being put onto the big screen. What do you say to those kinds of dreamers who want to be film composers and haven't reached that status for them? Is that the only option they have? What advice would you give them?
Option you have. The industry is wide open. I'll tell you my experience. The worst fear has arrived for the tent pole, what they call, what Steven Spielberg called tent pole Hollywood studios, and he warned them about this, making these big tent pole fields, and they were going to collapse, tent pole films, I should say, and they were going to collapse upon themselves because of things like YouTube and the big indie movement and the DIY movement within the last 7 to 8 years. I mean, pretty much it's a double-edged sword. Everybody can wear the name film producer or film this or film that. I would say, once again, make sure you just really understand the structure of this industry, and meaning titles, what an executive producer does. And by the way, that's the person that usually, unless the directors producing their own film, that's the person that usually writes your paycheck. What they do, everybody's job, the reputation of the indie studio they're working with or the regular studio they work with. It's your job to really understand structure, so you're just not spinning your wheels all day. Because I think really, aside from having a hit or not having a hit with film composing, I think what discourages a lot of people is spinning their wheels because they don't know that they're spinning their wheels, if I'm making sense with that.
No, you are.
Yeah.
And I think when we're so focused on one thing, we forget that there are other things around us that we could be doing in the meantime.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So the only thing I can say is just create every single day and pay attention. And not to be general, but when I say pay attention, I mean, once again, pay attention to business structure, pay attention to, basically, where that film is going. Make sure you're investing your time wisely. Look at the reputation of the project. You always tell film composers, no matter what level you're at, you always have currency, right? Everybody in life has unique currency, and it's valuable, more valuable than platinum, gold, or whatever else someone tells you it's value. It's your time, So when you understand that and you can truly define that, what is my time worth, you'll attract the right projects. And
You're so positive. Like, how do you stay positive with that? I mean, it's so intimidating when there are so many people trying to be what you want to be.
You just have to really, wake up every day and realize your ability. You have the opportunities you've had for a reason. You've been given the chances you've been given for a reason. And I stay positive. How I stay positive is, I just feel like I'm very fortunate, no matter what level someone, sees me at or doesn't see me at. The fact that I have the ability to make things happen for myself every single day is just a powerful thing. Some people don't have that ability. We have to realize, not to go too deep past film composition and creativity.
Bring on the deep.
Some people don't, you got to realize some people, you woke up this morning, some people didn't make it into this new day. I mean, you really got to just sit here and really ask yourself, what am I going to do to get to where I need to be, or what help do I need? And don't be afraid to collaborate. I think that's another thing that can kill, or that I see, killing parts of the creative industry, lack of collaboration. That's why I say DIY can be a double-edged sword. People can forget to collaborate or feel as if they don't need collaboration and really don't understand that your mind is limitless and limited at the same time. For example, I can put a purple block on the table, and Amy, you can ask me, what do I see? I can say, well, I see a purple block, but if you cut it, it can probably be a bookend, or it could probably be a part of a shelf. You can look at that same purple block and you can say it can be but it can be a Rubik's Cube. It can be a piece of art. It can be a table stand. It can be a mount for my car. You can name 12 other things. But that doesn't mean that, because you named 12 other things and I named 3, that doesn't mean that I'm weak. It's just that if we collaborated, we could have probably named 30 things. Am I making sense?
Came up with that example very quickly. It was very deep.
Oh, okay. Well, because that's what's happening with the creative industry as a whole, but not to get into that. It's just collaboration. I can say film composers coming up, don't be afraid to collaborate. And just make sure you understand, once again, the business of what you're doing, being members of stuff, protecting your work, understanding copyright, being members of PROs like CSAC, ASCAP, BMI, So when your stuff does get out there, or it's what's called a deferred project where you've been paid for it, but the project's not released for like a year or two later, and that does happen sometimes, and you'll forget about it. But you have those organizations that I named previously in place so that when it does go public, you make sure your royalties are coming in and you're getting paid, still getting paid for your work.
Wow. It's such a vast industry. Like you see something on TV, but it seems like behind the scenes are fun but complex at the same time.
It is. It's fun. It can be complex if you don't take the time to do the homework, the not so sexy part, as I say. You know what I mean? That's when you know you're truly dedicated. There's some things that are part of my industry. I'll be honest, although I love what I do, there are some things I don't like doing, but that's a discipline that I must do them in order to get to the things that I love doing. And I think that's what some people forget, and they spend a lot of time whining all day, and that's just not going to help you. That'll keep you in the same spot, and when you're open to having epiphanies every day, I think, you can do nothing but succeed, and the sky, you can go past the sky, because you're always open to growing and just continually educating yourself on new things. I'm still learning. I've been doing this for more than I want to say 13, 14 years. I tell people I'm still learning every single day. I have to. Because it's changing every single day.
Wow. I mean, so now that you've done film composing, right, you've done a number of different things. Do you see yourself heading in a new direction at any point? Meaning producing fully, or,
I don't know if I'll ever want to be a film producer. I've kind of toyed with the notion of that. I just don't know. I don't know if I want the politics of that part of it, but I'd probably be more of an investor. I don't think, and be like, hire a producer or someone that I trust with that. I would love in the future, as I get, on in age, maybe within the next 15 years from now, 20 years from now, have an urban film scoring camp, where I can take kids, that have the desire, but not necessarily the finances. Take them and do something like, create a camp for them, a nonprofit, where for the summer they can, no matter where they're from, they can be dormed and housed in a place like New York or LA and spend that summer learning, about film composition and, understanding more about film composition.
That seems like a good thing.
Maybe that can happen.
If you will it can happen. If you work for it, it can happen.
I believe so. So that's one of the things of many, so in the other directions in film, aside from scoring, because I look at things as a whole, even when I'm not writing the score for it, maybe, have a camp for young urban, or young writers, where they can go away for the summer and they can just, develop their writing and do things like by the end of the summer, they develop a short film, because I believe a lot of people have the ability to create, but sometimes they're in environments where there are just too many distractions, beyond their control, and it can kind of inhibit that, or it can kind of almost smother that or deter that.
Yeah, I can see how that happens. So, I mean, the other thing that's interesting, though, is that you're not in LA.
I am not.
How does that work? Like, is that because, most people say if you're not in LA, you're not making it. You're not going to make it.
That is not absolutely true. Okay, so here's the thing. Even though I'm not in LA, I have to travel there quite a bit. There was a point in my life where I was living there part-time. And I don't know if we talked about this when we met. And there was a point in my life where I was actually past in addition to being at part-time, before being at part-time, I had to be out there like every 3 months. So to develop relationships. Now, don't get me wrong, as far as the industry I'm in, if you're depending on the level of film you're working on, you still have to go out there to shake hands. But because of technology, you don't have to live out there. It just depends on who you know and who you speak to and what hub you're a part of. Your environment. For example, Chicago, where I'm at, Movie Maker magazine about 4 years ago named us the number one. That's a big publication. Named us the number one publication in the nation to make independent film. Period, and to make film and film overall.
Really?
They named us number one. Yes, they did.
That's fantastic.
It was 4 or 6 years ago, but Movie Maker magazine, we got it that year. Because we have so much going on. And its positioning, it's going, the Renaissance. And actually where I'm at Chicago, we have CineSpace Studios, which is also people, some people know if they're in the industry, but a lot of people do know Empire, that shoots here, that's based here. You know what I mean? It's the story is told focused on New York, but that's shot here at CineSpace. Chicago PD, Chicago Fire, Chicago Med, all those shows are shot here. Netflix has 3 shows that are shot here, based here. Shameless on Showtime, that's based here. All that stuff is going on. We have a very big independent film hub. We have one of the biggest tax credits in the nation, Sunrise Sunset Clause. Knowing all this stuff, being in the industry where film, that's what draws a lot of filmmakers here and a lot of big films here. But then going back to what you're saying, not being in Hollywood, the beauty of technology and developing your networks. I mean, I can't give away all my secrets, but a lot of filmmakers, there's stuff like there's a film I worked on where I didn't meet the filmmaker for a whole year. It was through introduction. We just talked through by phone. We talked by phone, email, and Skype. I hadn't physically met them for a whole year, but finished their project within 6 months. Because we kept doing revisions. But that's the beauty of technology. It's really I would more so focus on the art of relationship building, not the function. Notice what I said, the art of relationship building more than geography.
So what you're saying is it's possible to not be in LA and be a film composer or be in the industry.
It is. The only way I will be honest with you is not possible is if you're working on TV, although I named Empire the Shoot here. If you're, that's one show, but if you're working on TV, then yeah, you do have to be out there because that's a different type of workflow, but film, you don't necessarily have to be out there. It just depends on, what your relationships are like.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Well, since you're giving such helpful advice, before I let you go, I have to ask, what is one thing someone who's chasing their dream should take today?
Don't be afraid to reinvent, reassess, and, restore. That's pretty much all I can say. Sometimes you have to pull away and listen to your own personal universe and be willing to have those quiet moments where you're not hustling to work on things and stop for a minute. And, to make sure you're not on life's hamster wheel and be like, well, this is a teaching moment. What should I be learning right now? What am I not doing? Or, not as a negative, but either what am I not doing? What do I need to learn? Or what do I need to do better? Yeah.
I like that. You're just full of the deep.
Well, I just, in closing, I just love my life because I read an article right quick that talked about what our average lifespan is in a number of days. And I think if a lot of people read that article, it would shock them. We don't have really that many days on this planet, even when we're living very healthy. If you really understood that in numerical form, I guarantee you wake up every morning pushing for the best. If you looked at the raw numbers.
Well, I'm just going to end it there, guys, because you should be chasing your dream right now. So, Kayo, thank you so much for coming onto the show and just sharing your wisdom, man. I loved it.
Thank you so much for having me, Amy.
And Dream Chasers, that was Kayo Williams. What a guy. I mean, film composer, doing what he loves, passionate about it, and he's not wrong. Just chase your dreams, guys. Do it today. You guys can learn more about Kayo and get all the links from the show notes page over at chasingdreamshq.com/episode 117. That's episode 117. Until next time, guys, keep chasing.
Thank you so much for listening to Chasing Dreams. Amy would love to connect with you and hear all about your pursuit of chasing your dreams. Connect with her on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram via @ChasingDreamsHQ. Or you can find Amy on Twitter @AmyJ21. That's AIMEEJ21. Be sure to visit headquarters over at ChasingDreamsHQ.com for more inspiration, motivation, and resources to help with your own dream chase. We hope you'll join Amy next week, and until then, keep chasing.